This is another review that we have recently published in the 2025 study that we published. And in this systematic review of the literature, my colleagues and I were interested in identifying the effects of dual language education, early childhood bilingual education, so with young children. And that was the challenge that we had, the major challenge, because the literature and the research in bilingual education is, a focus on older kids and children from kindergarten up. And we were interested in identifying programs, at least with pre-K, pre-kindergarten, right? If not earlier. But we already know that, infants and toddlers are hardly represented in this type of research. And we only were able to find 9 studies that included pre-K. So that was, and we looked at, if you're interested, you can take a look at, read the article that has been published, and where we describe all the studies that we found and how we had to discriminate, eliminate those that didn't meet our inclusion criteria. But basically, that's what we found. So we included studies, and there was a big, 2007 to 2022 is a big range of years. So imagine 9 studies in all of that time. And of course, we were focusing on peer-reviewed. And again, I want to clarify that because definitely there are programs in the field, in the community, early childhood programs that are implementing bilingual approaches, but we don't find them represented, study it. They're not conducting evaluations, and if they are, they're not published in peer review. So what we need is in the field to increase that so that we are able to move the field forward. So that's important, especially for those of you who are students. That's the mission. We need to conduct that research, right? So we reviewed the studies. Well, there was very limited. Interestingly, also, even within these 9 studies, we found that they were providing very limited information beyond, about the implementation of these programs. They don't describe the programs. They don't tell you exactly, how they're implementing the program. Some of them mention something like, for example, 6 of the studies described how English and the children's partner language were used. The 2 that we found is they alternate weeks, and and the other one they do it by subject matter. A comment on this for us in early childhood education. Can we tell the children, a 4-year-old, today we're speaking Spanish, no English spoken today? Shut down that part of your brain. It's hard. How do you tell a 3 or 4-year-old to do that? So definitely, this is a question for another study, because it's an empirical question, but I would like to learn more about that. But I've seen this happening in programs and educators trying to force young children to shift in that way. Today is the Spanish day, today is English day, or no. Anyway, so that's, as I said, something that we need to study later, but at least in this review, this is what they were describing what's happening. And definitely no implementation fidelity. So someone conducts a study declaring we were in a school that is a dual language immersion, let's say, or bilingual transitional. Yeah. How do you demonstrate that was actually happening? That's the label of the program, but how is that in fact happening in the classroom? No observations. Only 2 studies included observational classroom practices using standardized measures, but then other than that, they were not really describing, but those were quality measures. They were not measures to show you how the program was being implemented.